Hey everyone, this is the start of my Intro to Cantonese series. I'll do a bunch of short lessons, each with a different topic, usually a grammar point followed with vocab. Hopefully you watched my Pingji series, because I'll be using that romanization throughout. So today, we're going to go over some of the most basic words in Cantonese. So since this is our intro video, let's talk a little bit about how Cantonese works and what I'll be teaching. Cantonese is unique because it's essentially two separate languages. We have a written version and a spoken version. The written version is used for anything written, obviously, but oddly enough, it's also used for songs. The spoken version is what you'd hear if anyone was actually speaking to you conversationally. It's not a difference between formal and informal, they're almost completely different languages. In this case, the written Cantonese is actually just standard Chinese, which is essentially Mandarin. Let's look at some examples. These are two sentences meaning where is he now? If you notice though, not a single word is the same between the two. In spoken Cantonese, it's 可以㗎喺邊度? But written is what you'd see in any kind of written media. In Mandarin, that's 他现在在哪里? In Cantonese, you'd read it as 他現在在哪裡? This much more closely resembles the Mandarin phrase, but no one would ever say that to another person. It's like how back in the day, someone in Spain may speak to another person in Spanish, but the common written language would be Latin. So they would read Latin with a heavy Spanish accent. So for this series, we'll be focusing only on spoken Cantonese. I would argue that it's not really worth focusing on the Chinese characters. I'll include them, but when there's a difference between spoken and written, it won't be as helpful. So my recommendation for conversational Cantonese is to learn their romanization instead, and for that, I'll be using Pingji. Okay, so let's begin with our building blocks, the pronouns. First, we have the word for I or me, 我, 我. Remember, the Z here means a low, rising tone. We use the Z because the line connecting the top and bottom slopes up, just like the tone. Actually, all the pronouns use this tone, which makes it easier. Also, notice how I said I or me? Cantonese doesn't differentiate between subject and object forms. It's really simple. So next is the word for you, 你, 你. And then finally we have 佢, 佢. This is he, she, him, or her. There's no gender difference in Cantonese. Next, let's look how to make them plural. You simply add they after the pronoun they. Remember the low bottom of the J means the low flat tone, they. If you want to make something possessive, then you add ge. Remember the hook of the R means the mid flat tone, ge. Ge can make anything possessive, not just pronouns. Let's see how this works now. 佢哋, 佢哋, meaning they or them. 你嘅, 你嘅, your or yours. And now let's try using both. 我哋嘅, 我哋嘅, our or ours. So that's all the pronouns. And from there, you can make all the combinations for pronouns. Super easy, right? Next are what I think are the three most important verbs. First is the word for to be, 係, 係. Next is the word to have, 有, 有. At the beginning of a sentence, it also means there are. And the opposite of 有 is 冇, 冇, don't have. Or at the beginning of the sentence, it means there are no. Finally, here are the two most important adjectives to start you off. The first is the word for not, 唔, 唔. We write it just as the letter M in Pingji, but it's actually a low falling tone. This is the only word in Pingji where we don't write the tone because it's so ubiquitous. Next, we have the word for good, 好, 好. This is our high rising tone. 好 also means very. So let's put them together. How do you say not good? 唔好, 唔好. And that's all I have for this video. If your pronunciation was 唔好, then go back and just try a few more times and practice. And I'll see you in the next video.